guys, Allison Gardner here, and you guys get to see me in all of my unmakeuped glory. This is day 3 for working from home for me, and I just decided, if only like one person's gonna see me all day, why get all ready? So I didn't, and here I am. And I'm talking today because I am trying so desperately to process. And in the silence around me, all I can think of is how far and how fast that I want to run. That I just want to get away. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm even running from. But there is just this feeling deep inside of me to run away. And I don't know if it's the natural man. I don't know if it's the adversary. I don't know if it's the spirit. I just don't know. And I am really having a hard time with that. So last Thursday I talked about faith, and I talked about hope. And I talked about trusting the Lord. And in that moment, I was trusting him for something really glorious. Something that I had waited a month to come to fruition to, that I had worked really hard and prayed really hard and dreamed really hard for. And within an hour and a half of that video, I found out it was not coming to fruition. And in that moment, I went, okay, I choose faith. I choose that if that didn't happen, then Heavenly Father has something way better for me. And then as I shared that hope was not happening, it became real. And I felt so petty, and I still feel so petty. And then in the midst of COVID-19 and self-distancing and social distancing, same thing really, and people sick and dying around the world, and people stressed out and worried, that my own disappointment and sadness and pain felt so petty. But trying my best to muscle through it hasn't gone away. And now I find myself much like Frodo. So if last week was a Narnia week, this week gets to be a Lord of the Rings week. There's one especially good meme that I saw with Aragorn talking to the hobbits in the Fellowship of the Ring. You've already had disaster. We've had one disaster, yes, but what about the second disaster? It seems so fitting because in a week of quarantine and in a week of coronavirus taking over Utah and in a week of earthquake in Utah and in a week of my own personal disappointment, I was asking more the question, what about fourth disaster? And I found myself much like Frodo. At the very end, after the journey and the battle and losing but winning, and after everything, he came home. And he simply asked the question, how do you pick up the threads of an old life? And I have found myself begging to find the answer to that question. Of the trusted few that I have told and talked to about this disappointment of mine. They said, but look at who you became through this process and your confidence in this process, and that as you were working through to letting go of all the things that were stopping you and holding you back. Look at all the things you let go of, and look at your dreams and what you want to become. But I don't know how to fit all of those things that I became with what is now my reality. And I don't know how to make those dreams and those wishes work when it's feeling so clearly like Heavenly Father had something so different in mind, but I have no idea what He had in mind. And I feel like all of those dreams and all of that confidence got shattered. And are just sitting inside of me trying to figure out what pieces they belong to. And I have people telling me, oh, this is just so amazing. You'll be able to teach someone with this one day, or I see an awesome diagram you're coming up with that will do good later. And all I see is a wall. I don't feel like I know who I am anymore. So talks of later are like twisting the knife. I don't know who I am at the end of all of this. And when I say this, I mean at the end of isolation, at the end of the world maybe going back to normal, which define normal, please. Like, it's not like we had normal before, so trying to figure out what normal is after is kind of funny. I don't know. And people talk about having faith. Faith that the Lord knows your best and highest good. And yeah, I get that. But if what I wanted so badly was not in my best and highest good, then how do I know what to dream for? How do I know what I wish for? If all the things that I wished for and hoped for haven't happened. And I see the irony, in case you were wondering. I totally and completely see the irony, because just last month I was saying in testimony meeting that you need to dream. You need to ask the Lord for the big things, because He can't make the big things happen if you don't ask. And so, perhaps today I trust that there is a big, wonderful miracle at some point. But this video isn't for when it's all better. This video is when it hurts. This video is when you feel all of the pieces inside of you are broken, and you know that in some mystical someday, they will be better. But today is not that mystical someday. So it's okay to have today. And it's okay if you're mad. And it's okay if you're sad. It's okay that even though you realize that the silence of the person you love is just an overwhelm tactic by the adversary, and it still hurts. It's okay if when left to your own devices, you don't know what to do. And you don't know what any of it looks like, and you do want to run away. It's okay. To feel like everything you wanted broke. And I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not even going to say that you have to have a game plan for what's next, because that game plan mocks you and laughs in your face. Because it's okay if you don't have the answers. And it's okay if you see exactly what the adversary is doing, and maybe you don't really have a clue. You just know he's in the mix somewhere. And then it hurts. And that you stare at your computer screen for hours on end, knowing there's stuff to do. But you are so busy fighting the running away that you don't know what it is. Because the Lord loves you in the doing, in the sitting, and in the crying. And He is there to hear you. Even when you want to run away. And when you feel like you are living up to so much less than your potential. And that it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. We have a God who places an eternity on it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And it is His work and His glory to sit with us. To not give any answers. To not push us anywhere. But to sit with us when we want to run away so bad and we don't. Because eternity is being. It's not about it's not about the doing. It's about the being and how you handle the being. Thank you for joining me. I don't know that I came to any more conclusions, but I feel like I came to some really good food for thinking. So thank you for joining me. And I hope that we all just keep being and inviting the Lord into the process. Thanks for joining me, guys. Bye.